No, you didn't do substantial cause and cooperative condition very much, no? Did you do that?
It was incorporated into sprout and effective.
Is it making any sense?
Not so much.
Is it making any sense?
I think Tom's got a little bit of it.
Yeah?
I have a strategy. But I don't
Strategy?
know if it makes sense.
What's the difference between, what do you think the difference between is when you say,
I can ask a question.
yeah, go ahead.
So, in what way is it a problem if there's a common focus between cause and effect?
There's no problem. Cause and effect are mutually inclusive.
Cause of water and effect of water.
Is that what you're asking? Or you're asking cause and effect?
Cause and effect, cause of water and effect of water.
Can there be a common locus? What? What do you think it is?
One moment of water.
One moment of water.
Oh,
It's the cause of water.
yes, the next moment.
No, no. Is it the cause of water? You said there's a common locus between the cause of water and the effect of water. And you said one moment of water.
Yeah.
So that means it's both the cause of water and the effect of water.
Except.
Is it the cause of water?
Yes.
Is it the effect of water?
Yes.
Take one moment of water, it follows it is the cause of water.
Except.
If something is a cause of water, does it have to cease at the time of water? Cease.
Cease.
It's like disintegrate. We use the word disintegrate.
Yeah.
Same.
I guess I have to say yes.
No, you don't have to. You can say whatever you think, but it has to make sense to you eventually, right? One is follow the rules, which you have to do.
Follow what?
The rules in the text.
Yeah.
Like, so if a text says something, you don't really have too much leeway, but for yourself, when you say something is the cause of water, does it have to cease when water arises?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So take one moment of water. It follows it ceases at the time of water.
I was thinking a second, the next moment of water.
That's fine, but you posited it as a common locus between cause of water and effect of water. So just stay with that first.
So next moment of water is not water. This is where we got in the debate.
That's still not where we are right now. Where you got to in debate, I don't know. Now be here. Take one moment of water. It follows it is the cause of water. You said yes.
Yes.
It ceases at the time of water.
Except.
It has ceased at the time of water.
Yes.
Except
Yes.
it follows it exists again after water.
That same it.
Take that one moment of water. It follows it exists again after water.
No.
Follows it exists again after water because it is the effect of water. Huh?
I lost it.
Come back to it then. Take the moment, or take one moment of water. It follows it ceases at the time of water.
If you just say the time of water, that could be any time.
No, you said it's a cause of water.
So I'm thinking this moment of water causes the next moment of water.
You think what you want. You're wording it different from how you're thinking it. That's what we're trying to get at.
I see.
I don't think any of you have a problem with the idea of it, but you're not being able to articulate it in debate language. That's the issue. So I know that you've understood the concept.
Okay.
No one doubts that. But what I'm
One
saying
person
is,
does.
yeah, huh?
One person does.
No, it doesn't matter. But the point is, in debate language, how are you going to hold it when you're saying it, right? So take one moment of water. It produces the next moment of water. Fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think anyone else does either. The thing that you're saying is that it is the cause of water. That's what you said. That means when water exists, is it the cause of water? Be specific in how you're wording it.
So, one moment of water, is it the cause of water?
Yeah.
No.
No. So it follows that the cause of water and the effect of water don't have a common locus.
Okay.
They don't?
This one moment of water, is it the cause of water? It's not the cause of water.
It's not the cause of water?
Yeah, because
Like, will you say right now is the cause for Thursday? Today is the 26th, 7th? What is it?
26th.
6th? Is right now the cause of the 26th?
Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday.
September 26th.
Is today the cause of Thursday, the 26th of September?
No,
Why?
because something can't be the cause of itself.
So, right now is Thursday, the 26th, right? Take one moment of water. It follows it is water.
Yes,
It follows it's not the cause of water.
except.
Is that the same thing?
Yes.
So, is there a common locus between the cause of water and the effect? I mean, the text is amply clear. It says cause and effect are mutually inclusive, but the cause and effect of one thing are mutually exclusive. So, as far as the text goes, it has said that. Now, you can try and debate it out, which is what you've just done. And you said, but the example that you've given doesn't really hold. So, the text has said
Cause and effect of the same thing.
of the same thing, of one thing. The text says that. Does it mean you have to accept it? No. But does yours reasoning hold up?
Which reasoning?
The example that you've given.
No.
Does it hold up to reasoning? It doesn't. So can there be a common locus? What if you did ice? You were saying it yesterday. Where have you come on that? Take ice, it follows it as a cause of water.
I think I was saying water is the cause of ice.
Take ice, it follows it as...
Also, yeah.
Take ice, it follows it as both the cause of water and the effect of water.
See if I can apply what I just learned.
You both. What ice? Take ice, it follows it as both the cause and effect of water as well. What is it? Is it the cause of water or the effect of water?
Can I say neither?
You can say whatever you want.
I would say ice is ice.
It's neither.
Ice is ice. Yeah, it's not.
Take ice, it follows it is not a cause of water. Take ice, it follows it is the substantial cause of water.
Why?
Take ice, it follows the substantial cause of water because it fulfills the definition of substantial cause of water.
Reason not established.
What is the definition of substantial cause of water?
Main producer of water, which is a continuation of its own substantial entity.
Take ice and water, it follows they are one substantial continuum. Follows are not a substantial continuum.
Exactly.
It follows ice doesn't turn into water.
Why?
Follows water turns into ice.
Except?
It follows that water that turns into ice are both one substantial continuum.
Except?
It follows water and ice are a substantial continuum.
Okay, except?
Take ice, it follows it is the substantial cause of water.
Why?
Because it is the main producer of water as a continuum of its own substantial entity.
No provision.
That's not the definition of substantial.
No,
Co- it
no
fo-
provision means I... Oh, should I have said why?
No, I give a reason. So you have to say reason not established or no provision.
No, I
Take
think
ice, it follows it is a substantial cause of water. Take ice, it follows it is a substantial cause of water.
Okay, accept.
Take ice, it follows it is not a substantial cause of water
Why?
because it is a substantial effect of water.
I thought I had this direction.
Right? So that's the debate if you want to do it. The text says they're mutually exclusive. When you debate it, it's a chicken and the egg. You can do the same debate. What came first? Even in Gen's book, he said, please do the debate between the chicken and the egg. So you have to find a way to answer it. That's the thing. There is a way to answer it.
Maybe we say previous moment is ice, next moment ice before water,
Okay, so
and ice after water.
you can say it like that. Okay,
Then only ice.
perfect. So then now the question is though, is ice the cause of water or is ice the effect of water? Huh? It's neither? It's neither? Then, now we do, however, take sprout. It follows it is not the effect of seed. What's the example of substantial cause and substantial effect in the text? Read what it says. What does it say?
Example? I think it was about water.
Don't think, look what it says.
Which example?
In the definition of substantial cause,
Pot, right?
yeah, what does it give?
The lump of clay that produced the clay pot.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the thing.
Yes.
So a lump of clay is not the substantial cause of pot.
It's not.
It's not. Seed is not the cause of sprout.
It's not.
Follows it is the cause of sprout
Why?
because it is the intention of the Buddha.
It has to be the seed that is the cause.
Just answer the question. It follows it is the substantial cause of sprout because that's what the Buddha said. It's the intention of the Buddha.
Reason not established.
It follows it is the intention of the Buddha because in the Rice Seedling Sutra he says, what does he say in the Rice Seedling Sutra? Because of this, that exists. If this is there, no, dichung. If that exists, if this exists, that exists. If this arises, that arises. Because of a sprout, because of a seed, a sprout. So he says that, right?
Okay, no provision.
So what does he mean? It follows this is not literally, taken literally.
Yes, it follows it implies that this must have a specific relation to that. It cannot be this in general that causes that.
That's fine. So you can say it like that. Yeah.
The this that causes that, if this is, then that arises.
Is specific to not seed and sprout, but sprout and seed, which is its cause. Is that how you're saying it?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So then water is also not a cooperative condition of sprout.
Exactly.
Now what is the example in the text of cooperative condition of pot? Take potter, it follows it is not the cooperative condition of sprout. Of pot, sorry. What do you mean? Follows it is not a cooperative condition of pot. So I mean I think you've understood the point, but my thing is now that you've understood it and you can say it like that, now have fun with the text because the texts are saying certain things and you've understood it in a different way. Just enjoy debating it. That's literally all there is because the concept itself is not so hard anymore, right? Then there is also the fact that in Tariq it says fire is the cause of smoke. You can't get out of that, unfortunately. Okay, so just hold on, listen to this debate, but let's hear what they have to say. Is fire the cause of smoke? Yeah. Is seed the cause of sprout? Is ice the cause of water? It follows seed is not the cause of sprout. It follows fire is not the cause of smoke. Why is seed not the cause of sprout?
Because you can take a sapling of the tree
Uh-huh.
and it can be sprout of the tree.
That tree didn't have to come from a seed.
It came from another tree.
from another sapling, and so you can have endless saplings without ever having to go back to a seed.
Possible.
Really? So just with the general things, how are you going to fit it in? That's it. So just when you have an idea, a meaning, then you just use the text to have fun. Okay? Like with them and with them, we can have a lot of fun because we have correct effect signs. You're dead if we do correct effect signs and you be so specific in your answers. Right? Is fire the cause of smoke? Yeah? Is seed the cause of sprout? What are you going to do with ice and water? It follows ice is the cause of water. It follows it is the cause of water because water is causally related to ice. Okay, it follows water is not causally related to ice. It follows ice is causally related to water. See, you can still do it. That's what I'm trying to get at. Take ice, it follows it is not causally related to water.
Why?
Okay. Take seed, it follows it is not causally, it takes sprout, it follows it is not causally related to seed.
Why?
Because sprout is causally related, seed is causally related to sprout. Take sprout, it follows it is not seed, it follows it is not causally related to sprout. Follows it is causally related to sprout. Because it is substantially different from sprout, and by the power of counteracting sprout, seed is counteracted. It follows it is substantially different from sprout. Followed by the power of counteracting sprout, seed is not counteracted. It follows you can have seeds without having ever had a sprout. For example, where is this? Please show me which seed comes like this.
One which is genetically engineered, you just take
Scientific lab grown seed.
A scientific lab-grown seed.
Yes, lab grown seed.
Is there such a thing?
Which doesn't say something.
Has that not borrowed genetic material from other plants? It's just come from nothing.
You took the genetics from a cow.
And made a seed.
Yes.
You can do that.
Maybe. In theory.
Doesn't it have to have organic genetic material that is specific to plants?
No, you can.
You can transform that?
In theory, yes.
That's excellent. And take seed, it follows, take sprout, it follows it is not causally related to seed, even better. Then you're free, then you can just get out of everything. Take sprout, it follows it is not causally related to seed.
In general it is.
What do you mean in general it is? So you haven't done relations. I was thinking maybe we can do relation today. It might be more helpful. Have we done relations?
We did contradictory.
We did we didn't do related, no?
Banana actually, that's the banana.
Have you ever eaten a banana? What are those black things inside? The GMO bananas don't have them because they're seedless. You know those things inside, those black things, those are banana seeds. So just do it. I mean, you can enjoy yourself with it, but you understand the point, right? Not like, because it's related, which I wonder if it makes sense to do. Are you comfortable doing a new topic right now? Because it'll just make your cause and effect more, it'll enrich your cause and effect. Yeah? So can we just do that a little bit? Just look quickly at the text and do what's the definition of related? Just pull out your text. Because then you can even debate with them. Then in the evening when they come down, then you can use these debates. It might be helpful. Then we'll do generality and instance afterwards, and then we're good. Right? So what's the definition of related?
It is different from that, and if that were not to exist, it would not exist.
Right, so you are related to something when Mark is different from that thing, and by the power of counteracting that thing, Mark was counter. There's two definitions. If Mark didn't exist, that wouldn't exist. Right? And then there's one definition by Penchen. Right? So let's just go with the first one. If that didn't exist, this wouldn't exist. Okay? So you are related to something when, by if that you are different from that thing, and if that thing doesn't exist, you don't exist. Okay? you are you are related to something if you are different from that thing, and if that thing doesn't exist, you don't exist.
Is it like the you, the I, is it like a necessary effect of that?
No, right now it's just related.
Okay.
We haven't gotten into whether it has to be an effect. Two things are related if they are different from each other, and when one doesn't exist, the other can't exist. Right? So now you can use this to do seed and sprout, but do the what are the divisions? Just let's do the divisions. Then I think it'll be more helpful for you. What are the divisions?
Related as same essence,
And
causally related.
can you give me the definitions of both?
Related as same essence.
Yeah.
It is different from the phenomenon within the context of being the same essence.
Uh-huh.
And if the phenomenon were not to exist, it necessarily would not exist.
Right. And causally?
In the context of the phenomenon being substantially different from it, the phenomenon abides in a type of its effect.
Okay. Right? Okay. So, in the definition of related, you have that it is different from that, and if that doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Then in the two divisions, you have two divisions. The kind of different is that they are one entity but different, or in the second one, they are substantially different. Correct? So when they are related as one entity, it's when the two things are one entity but different. And when they are causally related, it's when the two things are substantially different. Is that okay? So then that's where we'll come to. Is that okay? Yeah? So like Mark and Mark's hand are related as one entity because they are one essence or one entity, and if Mark didn't exist, Mark's hand would not exist. Yeah? Okay? Mark and Mark's parents are causally related because Mark is substantially different from Mark's parents, and if Mark's parents didn't exist, Mark wouldn't exist. Make sense? Just general info.
Should I hold off on the question?
No, not at all. Tell me.
So, my relatives, because I'm not related to them?
Technically, no. If you go to court of law, maybe, but technically, no. Like blood relatives, they are relatives, but not in this sense.
Exist, I don't cease to exist.
Yeah, that's not true though. Like your cousins, you're not related to your cousins by this definition. Okay? Yeah? Okay, yeah.
You said that Mark and Mark's hand are related
As one essence.
as one essence, and then you said because if Mark were to exist, then Mark's hand will not exist,
Yeah.
and Mark's hand would not exist.
Yeah.
But the definition says that this is related to that.
So now we're coming to that. So now what we need to see is in more detail, you need to see what is related to what. Okay? So is Mark related to Mark's hand, or is Mark's hand related to Mark? That's what you need to see. Okay? And with causally related, you need to see if smoke is related to fire or fire is related to smoke. So let's do that. And then do some relations, and then we'll do cause and effect, and we'll do relation, and then hopefully tonight you will sleep well. Okay? Hopefully. Because it gives you something more to think about, which is sometimes important. Okay? So, take Mark and Mark's hand. It follows Mark's hand. Okay, one sec. Take Mark, it follows he is related to his hand.
Why?
It follows he is related to his hand because he is substantially one with his hand, and if his hand didn't exist, Mark wouldn't exist. Which reason is not established? The first part or the second part? If Mark's hand didn't exist, Mark wouldn't exist, like if, God forbid. Right? Got it? Okay? But take Mark's hand, it follows it is related to Mark. it follows it is not related to mark because it doesn't fulfill the definition of being related to mark. What is the definition of being related to mark?
Mark's hand is different from Mark, and if Mark didn't exist, Mark's hand
Would not exist. Now take Mark's hand, it follows it is related to mark. It follows it is not related to mark because it is not related as one essence nor causally related to mark. There's two divisions, right? Either it is related as one essence or it's causally related. So take Mark's hand, it follows it is not related to mark because it is not related to mark as one essence nor as causally related. Which one is it? Which one is it? Same essence or causally related? Take Mark's hand, it follows it is causally related to Mark. You just said so. Take Mark's hand, it follows it is not causally related to Mark. It follows it is related as one essence to Mark. It follows it fulfills the definition of being related as one essence to Mark. Or with Mark maybe. Yeah? Okay, what is the definition of causally related as one essence with Mark? Related to Mark. Yeah?
From that by means of being the same essence.
Yeah.
And by the power of contracting that it is contracted.
Okay, fine. Take Mark's hand, it follows it is related, it follows it is one essence with Mark, one entity, one essence, same, right? Is it? It follows if Mark didn't exist, Mark's hand would not exist. It follows therefore it is related as one essence with Mark. Got it? That's what it's saying. Okay? So when two things are one entity and if one didn't exist, the other wouldn't exist, they are related as one essence. The timing was great. Okay? Is that okay? Now causally related. Take, let's see. So now you do causally related. Now it's a little bit trickier. Okay?
Shala, can I just clarify?
Yeah, yeah.
the previous one?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So Mark is related to Mark's hand as one essence. But
Is it? Is he?
But Mark's hand is not related, or is it the
Take
other?
Mark. It follows it's related. He's related to Mark's hand,
They are both different?
and by the power of counteracting Mark's hand, Mark is counteracted.
Oh, I see. So that is how you go. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is Mark like?
So Mark is therefore not related to Mark's hand.
Yeah. Okay. There's an important point of view that we'll get to in a minute
Are we
for all of you
sure
Buddhist fans. Yeah. Tell me.
that if we eliminate Mark, Mark's hand is also eliminated?
I am just asking you. You. Poor Mark. Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe a hand, we can't say it's Mark's hand if Mark doesn't.
You please debate this with each other. Let me give you the things and then you do them, okay? Now, what is the other definition of related as causally related? Let's do this one. Take a sprout, it follows it is causally related to seed.
Can we go over the definition again?
Yeah, yeah, I'm asking you the definition, just read it out.
Oh, in the context of the phenomenon being substantially different from it,
Uh-huh.
the phenomenon abides in a type of its effect.
Right. Take a sprout, it follows it is causally related to seed. It follows it fulfills the definition of being causally related to seed.
Why?
Because it fulfills the definition.
In what way does it abide in a type of its effect?
Because it is its effect.
A seed is a sprout.
No, no, no. A sprout is the effect of seed.
Phenomenon referring to the sprout.
Yeah, so you're checking if a sprout is related to seed, right?
Okay.
So a sprout, okay, let's just do this. Is a sprout related to a seed? So, okay? It follows a sprout is different from a seed And if a seed didn't exist, a sprout would not exist. So a sprout is related to a seed. Correct?
Yes.
Now we need to check which one of the two. There's only two options. So take a sprout, it follows it is substantially different from a seed. It follows by, if the seed didn't exist, the sprout wouldn't exist. Therefore, it follows it is not related with seed as one essence. It follows it has to be causally related with seed. Got it? Got it? Got it? You have to limit. So now when we'll do relations, we look at generally is it related and then what kind of relation does it have. Okay? Is that okay? Now you can bring in cause and effect and you can debate more things. Okay? So, relations. Just write a few down and then you can try them. Okay? What is the relation between cause of sprout? And now you can say seed, you can say seed that is before sprout. You can say however you want. Okay? Like you can say ice that is before water, ice that is after water. Like you said before, you're free to say however you want to say. But now we're going to do it with related. Okay? So now bring it in. What is the relation between cause of sprout and related to sprout?
Something related to sprout?
Yeah. Yeah? Between cause of sprout and related to sprout. Okay? What is the relation between effect of sprout and related to sprout? Is that okay? Then, what is the relation between cooperative condition of sprout and related to sprout? And then the other one, what is the relation between cooperative effect of sprout and related to sprout?
Can you repeat the last one?
Sure, just swap them. So what's the third one?
Cooperative condition of sprout versus related to sprout.
Right, and the last one is cooperative effect of sprout. And wow, you're really fast on that little thing.
And everything is like gobbledygook.
Oh yeah? Okay. So what is the relation between cooperative effect of sprout and related to sprout?
Do we have a definition of cooperative effect in our text?
Yeah, so the definition of cooperative cause is that which produces its effect as the main producer of the effect,
of the producer of effect of as in, which is a continuation of its own substantial.
which is not,
Which is not exactly.
as a substantial entity, which is not a continuation of its own substantial entity. That's the definition of cooperative condition. So the definition of cooperative effect will be, what is the definition of effect? Produced? Right? That which is mainly produced
So this is implicit.
as a substantial entity, but not as a continuation of that substantial entity. So you just swap them. That's why the text doesn't even have them, because you can just derive them. Okay? Okay? Is that done? Now, there's one important thing here, just as a distinction, so that it'll... Actually, I think we can conclude this today, and I think these debates will help you. But just to notice one little thing, because many of you are all big Madhyamika fans. Do you see, have you heard the idea, I think I've said this many times to everyone else, right?
You say.
The Madhyamikas are the only guys who go about talking about, what is it? What is it?
Dependent origination?
No, mutual dependence. Have you heard this term, mutually dependent? Right?
Like hot and cold.
Yeah. But the Madhyamikas are also the only people who say the whole everyone in the Buddhist school, as you can see, Mark depends on his hand. No one says that. Mark's hand depends on Mark. Everyone says that. So parts depend on the whole. Yeah? It's something that we kind of feel slightly comfortable with, but the whole depends on its parts. Sometimes we don't feel comfortable with. In other situations, you will feel like a house is related to the walls, but the walls are not related to the house. So you will feel another alternate kind of thing. Like, take this hall. It follows it is related to the four walls. Yeah? Right? Take these four walls. It follows they are related to the hall. It follows if the hall didn't exist, these four walls wouldn't exist. What if I take the roof off? There's a hall. Really?
Roofless hall.
Do you call that a hall? It's not a hall anymore, right? 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 But the walls are still there. So sometimes when you look at parts in a whole, you will find that you find a unidirectional relation where either the whole depends on those parts or those parts depend on the whole. But you don't find mutual dependence. Similarly, with cause and effect, we feel that an effect depends on the cause, but a cause doesn't depend on the effect. Because if an effect doesn't exist, it doesn't mean a cause can't exist, right? Whereas if the cause doesn't exist, the effect doesn't exist. So the importance of relation over here is adding, I don't know if I should say the last part, but we'll see. Yeah.
If the effect doesn't exist, then we can't call it cause.
No, its cause doesn't have to not exist, right? Like if you have flour that will become bread, if you don't have that flour, then you can't have the bread, right? But if you don't have the bread, it doesn't mean you can't have the flour.
Yeah, but that's not the cause.
What's the cause of that bread?
The flour which is meant for that bread.
Yeah, so take flour which is meant for that bread. It follows if the bread doesn't exist, that flour can't exist?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because then it's not that.
One sec. So take that flour. It follows if it's meant for that bread, the bread has to come? Yes? Really? Really?
I think so.
If flour is meant for that bread, can you not use it for like, let's say, oh, I don't feel like making bread today, let me make chapati. Can you do that?
Then it is
No,
not
not a good
flour
example.
meant for that bread. It was not meant for the bread.
Oh, so it's meant for the bread is decided when? When the bread is already there,
Yes.
right? So when the bread is there, the flour is no longer there.
Yes.
So then when do you have flour that is meant for that bread? After the bread or before the bread?
During the bread.
So then there's no longer any flour.
Yes. But
So then how do you have flour meant for that bread?
it was there in the past.
Right, so okay, fine. That one that was there in the past, is that the cause of bread?
Yes.
That's the cause of the bread?
Yes.
If the bread doesn't come, then you can't have that flour.
You can have it.
You can have that flour?
Yes.
You can have that flour? So that flour is not related to the bread,
Yeah.
but that bread is related to that flour?
No.
That bread is not related to that flour?
Exactly.
That bread is not the effect of that flour?
No. It's not it.
What's the cause of that bread?
A flour that was meant.
You have flour here, and this flour tomorrow is going to turn into bread. These are your subjects. There's nothing else. Like if you go to the kitchen, they have vegetables that they're going to make for lunch tomorrow. Take those vegetables. It follows they're the cause of tomorrow's lunch?
Yes.
Yes? Take these vegetables right now in the kitchen. It follows if tomorrow's lunch doesn't exist, these vegetables don't exist?
They exist.
They exist? So take these vegetables, it follows they're related to tomorrow's lunch?
Which doesn't happen.
Subject is just this. Take these vegetables, it follows they're related to tomorrow's lunch? It follows they're not related to tomorrow's lunch? Because if tomorrow's lunch doesn't exist, these vegetables don't have to not exist.
No provision.
That is the definition of related to tomorrow's lunch. It is different from that, and if that doesn't exist, this doesn't exist. It follows they're not related to tomorrow's lunch because they don't fulfill the definition of related to tomorrow's lunch.
They fulfill the definition.
It follows if tomorrow's lunch doesn't exist, these vegetables don't exist.
Okay, why?
It follows it's not related to tomorrow's lunch.
Why?
Because it doesn't fulfill the definition of being related to tomorrow's lunch. I think Tam is of a different opinion though.
Oh, that was another thing.
But my point in all of this was the Madhyamikas will not say they're related to tomorrow's lunch, but they depend on tomorrow's lunch.
Sorry.
There is
Got
a
it?
significance of changing that word to depend.
Yeah,
Then
there is.
this counteraction business doesn't come in, is it?
I don't know what the counteraction kicks in or not. I haven't heard that explicitly, but there's a depending thing. The only ones who say there's a dependence are the Madhyamikas, and it's a really good argument. But, so the nice thing is, so why I'm saying this to you is because, so I'm trying to do that role of the person who tries to inspire. I don't know if I'll manage, but the point is, at some point, Lama Tsongkhapa says something very beautiful. He says, when you understand that it depends on something else, and the only way you can posit that dependence is through imputation, then you posit that it exists only through imputation. So, one way of many people talk about Madhyamaka in a kind of like, oh yeah, it doesn't really, you can't understand it through reasoning. And Madhyamaka is something that is kind of very elusive and it's like a very difficult thing to fathom, and you just have to refute all kinds of mistaken views, and then it just somehow surfaces. And there's like a very weird way of talking about it. I think of various things that Lama Tsongkhapa says, and especially the way Gen interprets it, is that Madhyamika is very elegantly established through reasoning. And the reasoning of dependence is a very helpful way to talk about emptiness. How do you do it? If you can prove that the vegetable lunch, tomorrow's lunch depends on these vegetables, then you've done what all the Buddhist schools can do and what most people on the planet can do. It's not hard. This is not particularly hard. But if through your reasoning you can prove that the vegetables right now depend on tomorrow, if you can do that, and then you look at how this thing can even depend, and you find that there is no objective dependence over here, and that this dependence is purely imaginary, but it is dependence, then you're left with the only kind of dependence that it can be is imaginary or imputed, which is the same thing. And therefore, it does depend, but it is imputed. And so imputed and dependence become the same thing. And then dependent origination and emptiness become the same thing. So there is a very elegant way of doing it. But it is so grounded in relations that you have to understand related well. Is that okay? Now we haven't done the, Penchen Rinpoche has a different definition of relation. There's a whole deal of counteracted, which we'll do later. For now, just do the one that we have in our text. Okay? So just do these relations, and then remember that the final goal is still trying to get to dependent origination, and it's actually very beautiful. Lama Tsongkhapa says it. He says it very beautifully. Okay? And the same thing is also applicable for related as one entity, where you will say these four walls don't depend on the hall depends on the four walls. Right now you feel like that because the hall is related to the walls are not related to the hall. You feel like that, but if you can prove that the walls are dependent on the hall, and then you realize that the only kind of dependence is imputed, then you have to accept that the dependent thing guarantees imputation, and it can only depend through imputation. So imputation becomes something that you derive through dependence. That happens afterwards. So don't do that now. Please don't do that now. Even you don't do that now, none of you. Don't do, just know that it's where it leads to. Right? Right? So right now just do related. And then the last one is, what is if A is related to B, so just do the relation between A related to B and B related to A, where your A's and B's are, okay? If A is related to B, it follows that B is not related to A. If A is related to B, it follows B is related to A. If B is related to A, it follows A is related to B, and the last one, okay? Just because then you start to get an understanding that relation is almost always unidirectional, or most often unidirectional. Just, yeah, do it. Almost often unidirectional.
Can you just give that relation again? You said
If A, what is the relationship between two, or what is the modes? What's the other way of
What's
saying
the
it?
relationship between A related to B?
A related to B and B related to A. So you have to keep your A's and B's the same, right? Yeah? So you have 5 relations. You'll run through them? Good. Bye.
I don't understand. What relations?
The homework. I mean, not home. It's not home. It's together work. Because we're doing it in like an hour.
Okay.
Yeah? No, not an hour. Maybe like 2 hours, whatever it is. Yeah?
Finished.
Yeah. We'll stop for you.